right when I got traded from Arizona to Toronto, nobody knows this. This is the first time I'm saying this. That's when I first started hating myself. I had two dreams as a kid. I'm playing Major League Baseball, and I'm buying a zoo. You could see how I'm interacting, and I'm in a very good spot right now. Imagine if I was in a bad spot. Hey, this is Shea Hillenbrand. You're watching The Walk-Off with Scott Belford and Adam Mack. I hated myself. I hated the game. I hated everything, because why do I have to get traded from? I couldn't get traded from a place further from where I am. And it has nothing to do with Toronto, has nothing to do with Canada, has nothing to do with any of that sort, but it had to do everything with my identity. And it's like, here I go again. And my wife at the time, like, she didn't support anything that I did. It was like pulling at me, because it just, our relationship was just challenging, because like I didn't have that strong backbone to say, okay, go do it. I feel like I had to stay at home. I feel like I had to take care of the kid. I feel like
they
I had
didn't
to
move to Toronto with you.
It was situational, right? It was challenging with having a family. I mean, I spent over $1 million in private plane flights to have my dogs and my kids with me, like $1 million on flights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just to have them there, but it was super challenging. But that was. And I played very well in Toronto. I was an all-star with them in 05.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you were.
Like, we're on the field. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to bring up, it's interesting that you identified that intensity as part of the rift within the clubhouse, that you were just like, in your mentality, you're like, we're going to war. Why aren't all of you as intense as I was? So I'm curious. You come into that new clubhouse at the start of 2005. What were your initial reactions with the Blue Jays? Were you frustrated right from the start? I know you kind of mentioned that, like, that was the start of the end.
Yeah, I was extremely frustrated. For one, it's a hockey town. And for two, it's the environment in that clubhouse was very, very loose. I mean, I came from Boston, right? I came up with the organization, and it's die hard. And like, that's where I fit. I fit in Boston or New York, like with the Yankees. Like, that's like that's my safe place. That's my place to like shake and just be Shea. When I walk into the clubhouse, the lineup card's right there. The first thing you see. And like, you look, okay, I'm in the lineup. Okay, now I'm preparing. I don't need a coach. I don't need a manager. I don't need, like, they're all resources for us players. We know how to play the game. I don't need a manager telling me what to do. I know more about the game. I know more about getting myself prepared and ready to go to war than the manager does. We're questioning the manager when he's making decisions in a dugout. Like, every manager, like, whether it's a bunt defense or whether it's hit and run or whether it's like playing an infield in or out, or like, why are we having this pitcher coming? Like, we know just as much, or if not more. It's not a lot of people don't know, fans. We know just as much, if not more, than the manager does. So it's like you question that, right? But what happens is the game breeds individualism. If you don't look out for yourself, no one else will. I don't care what anybody says or anybody goes on. That's the cold, hard fact and truth. Why does it do that? Because the pressure at that level is so great. Think about it. There's 750 guys playing MLB out of 7.5 billion. You have a better chance of winning the lottery than playing Major League Baseball, and then becoming an all-star on top of that, being one of the select few, 13% of that. It's insane, right?
It is
so
insane.
You have to, my teammate has to look out for his shoulder, his back, because if he doesn't do it, he's out. The trainer, if the trainer's not looking out and doing the right thing, and he doesn't, he's out. The manager, the coaches, the videographer, the video guy, like the guy in the kitchen. Like, if he's not doing the right thing, like, he's out. The clubhouse guys, they're out. So it's like the game breeds this craziness of, like, if you don't look over your shoulder, like, you're done. So I couldn't trust anybody in the clubhouse. And let me tell you why. I couldn't trust myself. And that's what happens with a lot of professional athletes. They don't trust nobody because deep down, they don't trust themselves. I didn't trust myself. So how could I trust a John Gibbons, who just came from the minor leagues, who was a teammate with J.P. Ricciardi in the minor leagues, right? Like there's so, like, this is my free agent year. I'm fixing to get paid. I just said fiction. I can't believe I just said that. I'm getting ready to get paid like $10 to $12 million a year because I earned it. And now I'm going into my free agency as a DH. Now I'm going to go down to $6 million a year. Like, that's a big hit for the ego. No, wait. That's a big hit for the ego of a professional athlete. $6 million is a lot of flipping money, man. Like you can live the rest of your life off of just making $6 million. But for me, I was like, dude, I'm in this fantasy world. I belong here. Like your mind just gets so like misconstrued and like it's crazy. It's like, why am I not achieving what I'm supposed to achieve? So it's a totally different place of operation than a normal person.
I'm loving how honest you are about all of this and how this kind of played out. And you did touch on this a little bit before, and I'd love to hear the story. July 19th, 2006. Okay. And you had just adopted, that was the day. And I mean, you had just adopted your daughter a little earlier than that. Congrats, by the way, on that. From a personal standpoint, things were rolling all around just fine. But from a professional standpoint, things between you and John Gibbons came to a boiling point that evening. Things with the Jays had obviously deteriorated. Was there animosity in the months building up? And if you could kind of take us through that day and just kind of how things played out there at the tail end of your Jays career.
Yeah, like I told you when I got traded from Arizona to Toronto, I hated myself. So imagine yourself in that situation of anything that you're doing, and I mean, it's tough for people to relate to somebody who's living out their dream because not many people get that opportunity to live out their dream. But regardless of where you are and what you're doing, whether it's the money or whether it's the fame or whether it's the status or whether, like, man, I could hit it. Like I could play the game at the highest level. I was living out my dream, but I hated myself. So when you hate yourself, what do? You disconnect from that. And when you disconnect from that, you don't know how to operate. Because if I don't disconnect from that hate and that pain and that disgust and that hurt and that shame inside yourself of how you've carried yourself, if I don't disconnect from that, that's going to be a distraction of me performing that night. And if I don't perform that night, I'm not going to have a job. This is every single night. This is what separates baseball from any other sport. It's every single night. So we train ourselves to disconnect from who we are, and you can't even function and you can't even operate. So I'm disconnected from who I am because I hate, like I got this pain inside me so deep that I just want to bash somebody over the head with a baseball bat. Like, it's just like, it's crazy how you function, right? And it's like you're getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like you're a superstar athlete. You could do whatever you want. You hate yourself. You have this pain. You disconnect. Now you're putting up walls around you just to try to survive, but I know how to perform. Because there's an alter ego. When you perform, it's a different place of operation, right? So when I've trained myself to perform, but I didn't train myself to function as a human being. And that's where I went wrong. And that's where I laxed. And that's where all my pitfalls, all of my downfalls of my whole career is because Shea Hillenbrand didn't know who he was and didn't know how to function. I couldn't even carry on a conversation, right? So I didn't know how to function in an environment. I couldn't see, like, okay, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't believe whomever I'm interacting with in that environment, whether it's a clubhouse or a front office, but I can't see where you're coming from. I don't think you're doing the right thing. I don't know who I am. I'm so driven to do what I do that I'm just going to tell you to go to hell. I don't care. Like, seriously, man, we're in Oakland. This is Shea Hillenbrand. This is a cleaner mindset. This is like the obsession of the extreme that you go to get that, to have success on top of the world. Preparation is 100% the key to success. There's no such thing as superstitions in baseball. We have to have our mindset specifically on one thing, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I'm signing autographs for an hour and I have to prepare, I have to prepare to get my mind straight, to get my confidence straight, so I go out there and perform, so I don't lose my job, so I don't lose my identity. There's so many deeper levels of what I do to interact with
I'm
the
so
fans.
exhausted just listening to this.
I
I can't imagine being in your head.
I come to the ballpark. I come to the ballpark in Toronto, in Oakland, and I'm like, "Where's Dave, the assistant trainer?" Because he got me ready for the game. Like, oh, he took Gibby to the hospital because Gibby's having heart palpitations. He might be having a heart attack. I was like, I don't care. Get Dave back here. Send somebody else with Gibby. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Like, I need to prepare for this game. I need to go out there tonight. I need to perform. I need to go 3 for 4 because I need to have my identity. Because if I lose this, I have nothing. If I lose this, I'm going to want to put a pistol in my mouth. That's what led me to being one breath away from losing my life after I left baseball. So if you reverse engineer it, it had zero to do with Gibby. It had zero to do with John Gibbons. John Gibbons is like the best player's manager. But John Gibbons was in a situation and position. Shea Hillenbrand's in a situation and position. And let me tell you, you could see how I'm interacting. And I'm in a very good spot right now. Imagine if I was in a bad spot. How can you handle this, Shea Hillenbrand? You got to be strong. You got to get his trust. You got to understand where he operates. And you got to be understanding how to communicate and understand how to like hold him back and like keep him in here and just like keep him in his lane. Like it takes a very specific person to do that. And these two areas didn't match up. And I was at a place in my life to where it's like, it didn't matter what happened in the clubhouse. It didn't matter what happened with me playing or not. It mattered what happened is like, I had so much energy and I didn't know how to harness that. And it went to driving negativity. It went to driving anger because of that pain and that resentment and everything that I experienced my whole career and my life because of the story I told myself. So everybody I work with or talk to now, what's that story you're telling yourself? Is that story pushing you back? Is that story leaving you in mediocrity and complacency? Or is it propelling you towards your vision, dream, or goal? And right at that time, my whole career, it wasn't. It was
so
horrible.
Did you, when you
Unreal.
started your conflict with him that night, or did he, I don't know, not to say who started it, but did you...
I started it.
Is it because
everything.
you wanted out?
Because I say what you... No, it's because I say what you think. Whatever you guys think, because we all think it. I don't care what you say. You can be the coolest Christian in the world. These thoughts that pop into our mind, like I'm glad people don't get to hear the thoughts that come into my mind, right?
It's
so
true.
like, I would just say it. Like, I was so good at what I did. I prepared so much. I didn't care what you thought. We would come in after the game in Toronto, and you pop the beers. I forgot the beer I liked there. I didn't drink that much, though. You pop the beers, you turn on the music, and the teammates, the players are like, dude, you going out with us tonight, Hilly? I never went out. I went to bed at midnight. I woke up at 9. I had this routine. I was obsessed with what I did because I was able to achieve what I wanted to achieve. They would say, Hilly, you going to go out with us tonight? I'm like, what do you mean go out with you guys tonight? I don't even hang out with you guys in here when I have to. Why makes you think that I'll hang out with you out there when I don't have to? You guys can go to hell. You know what I mean? So
saying what you're thinking again.
Yeah, but check it out. So that became like, well, Shea's like, well, he's funny, dude. Like I was so off the wall, so honest that they're like, dude, that's like, but I'm like, I'm not joking. Like, I'm serious. They're like, okay, cool. All right, Shea, see you. We'll see you in the batting cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay. So then I attached my identity to that. And it's like, okay, you're an asshole, Shea. Or it's Shea, you're like, this is what I tell myself. Like, you're a bad teammate. But that's where it stayed. But I didn't understand how to take it deeper. So if you want to make an adjustment or a change or become a better version of yourself, you got to go deeper. The story that you're telling yourself, what is it? What's driving that? Okay, the pain, the hurt, the experiences, what's going on, me not being able to channel my energy, me being so obsessed. Like I told Kyle Yastrzemski as a rookie for the Red Sox in spring training to go to hell. I didn't even know who he was. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
But he liked it. But the thing is, like, what is that? So, like, when I left baseball, and we're not going to go into that because it's a baseball show. Like, I tried to prove to everybody that I wasn't that guy. So I disconnected from who I was. Then I became a people pleaser. Then I became the biggest, like, wuss in the world. And I didn't, like, know who I was. And then I felt like horrible, even worse. And that's what that spiraling out of control of not understanding who I was led me to being one breath away from losing my life. So, yeah.
I do want to get into a little bit of stuff outside of baseball, if that's all right. And it wasn't long after this blow up with the Blue Jays that you did what literally almost no professional ball players do, which is you retired pretty much in the prime of your career. Then you decided you wanted to go and open a zoo, which, man.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. It's just a crazy sentence to hear.
It's so wild, dude. Like, it's so great. Like, I just...
Why is it wild?
How did this process work in your head? Like, at what point were you like, I want to have a zoo? Did you buy a zoo? Did you start from scratch? Like, get into this whole zoo thing.
I had two dreams as a kid. I'm playing Major League Baseball, and I'm buying a zoo.